Hello, internet dweller. It is time for a vibe check. Hello, my name is Jenna, and today you're watching another WWM Productions video, and this time I have an idea. I don't know if it's a good one, but we're gonna try it. So in this jar, I got a bunch of papers, if you couldn't tell. On these slips of papers, I have written an aesthetic or a subgenre, and I am going to pick two random slips of paper out of this jar, put them together, create some ungodly combination, and try and recommend either a film, and I am going to see just what happens. To the video. First two. Okay, I have royal, I have historical. Okay, well this is easy, so The Crown. This is our first one. Huzzah! I recommend The Crown. It is a TV show. I am still in the middle of watching it, but I've made it a whole season in. I'm in the second season right now, and each season is fairly self-contained because it follows Queen Elizabeth, or at least so far, as her father dies and she has to become queen at a very young age. She has just married her husband, Prince Philip. She has to just become queen and take up the crown. And this is like a fairly basic show, I guess. It always gets nominated for things when it has a new season out. And it definitely has the reputation of being a bit like, I don't want to say boring, but it's definitely like slow and deliberate. But there are a couple reasons that I really enjoy this show. First of all, I just really enjoy history. While this show maybe doesn't totally do things factually, because it definitely has to go for like that drama element, I think it is definitely still a interesting show because it draws not only from like the royal family's history, but also from like different political aspects. So, for example, in the first season, you see a lot of Winston Churchill and the things that occur after World War II in his term as Prime Minister. And I just thought that dynamic between the government and the crown was really interesting, and just all of the sets and the costumes and everything is really great as a period piece, so that's especially interesting to me. I enjoy all of that stuff. And also just the story itself and how it focuses on Queen Elizabeth and how much her life is changing and how she's trying to adapt to all of it and be the best queen she can be, while also, I don't want to say like struggling with her own humanity, but how as the world just keeps changing, and it continues to in the show, so she has to kind of adapt and figure out what does the crown mean in this ever-changing world, and how much does she keep with tradition, how much does she kind of change. And I just think it's very interesting, so I think kind of easy for that. It's 4 seasons, so if you're definitely looking for a good like hunker down show, you just need something, maybe you need like a palate cleanser, you've been like watching a lot of one thing, so you want to spice it up with a historical period drama, The Crown lies at your feet. Number 2. A whodunit and Gothic. Okay, I was actually really hoping these two would go together, but the movie I'm going to talk about also takes place roughly in one mansion, so I think that satisfies the Gothic part of this. I mean, I know that's not like really what Gothic is, but Gothic is generally has like a darker tone and atmosphere, and typically, like a lot of times, like, or at least what we see now with Gothic, like literature or film, it generally takes place in like one like crumbling mansion or like a castle. A gross oversimplification of Gothic, but you know, crash course in it here. The movie I'm choosing for this is none other than Knives Out. I've talked about it before, and I mean, a lot of people were talking about it when it came out, and I'm also using, I guess, for this category, the whodunit category subgenre a little loosely, just because Knives Out kind of gets all over the place with whether it's a whodunit, a howdunit, a whydunit. It's all the dunnits, and you have all the questions that you have to try and figure out during the course of this movie, and it takes place in a mansion. For the most part. Sometimes they leave the mansion, but the mansion is very much a part of the movie. Ergo Gothic whodunit. But Knives Out, if you don't know it, follows a very, very rich family as kind of like the patriarch dies under suspicious circumstances, and the entire family, who you would think would be more connected and seems to appear at first to kind of like be close to each other. It follows them and the nursemaid of the patriarch who died, and they're all gathered at the house because they have to do the reading of the will, but also the grandfather's father's death is being investigated, so they all have to be interviewed by like the detectives and the police. And while they're there, you follow the nursemaid in particular, who is played by Ana de Armas, and she kind of gets roped into this investigation he's played by Daniel Craig, and he's kind of this like very like witty detective, and just Knives Out is just not a movie you expect it to be. It is always changing, like right on a dime, and it just keeps you like involved the whole way through, and you have no idea what's happening, and it's just so fun to try and put everything together, and it just has like such great atmosphere. And I went into this movie thinking it was going to be one thing, and just by the time I left the movie, I had gone through a whole character arc along with all of the different characters. It was so satisfying to watch, and it balances like kind of a darker tone, but as well like a fun murder mystery without losing focus of the narrative or what it's trying to do and its different messages. And I think it's a pretty great movie to go and watch it. If you haven't seen it already, then what are you doing? Get on that. I think that's all I have to really say about Knives Out. It's a really great mystery. It has those gothic vibes. Again, like the house, like I don't know how much of the house like really exists and how much of it was made as a set, but just the knife chair, I mean, come on. Is your house complete without a throne made of knives that is then used in the climax? Like, I don't think it is. I hope you enjoyed this little vibe check with me. If you did, make sure to leave a like or even comment some of the ideas you might have had or the different combinations you have. Just, if you had any thoughts in this video, just leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. People can be so creative with the things that you come up with. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to subscribe. Not only will you see me making more videos, you'll see our podcast that comes out every week where we talk about a different movie, or you'll see my channel partner making her own video. Thank you so much for watching. I will leave you to the rest of your day. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh my god, why did I cut these so badly?